Isn't it crazy with ZBC? It's 104% in 1 month. Can you imagine when it gets to 1 cent?
Proof of work doesn't work. Proof of work doesn't work. It's been widely...
Ryan, proof of work's been working.
Let me finish. Proof of work doesn't work.
Finish, please.
And in the early days of Bitcoin, there was a whole group of developers that broke off to create other assets, XRP being one of them.
Now, if I open up my Strike app and I send it to her across the Bitcoin blockchain rails, she gets 100 pesos. That's better. And XRP can do the same thing, and
we truly believe that there is an internet of value coming, much like the internet provided with communications and email in the 90s and through the beginning of the millennium. Today, the payment system is advancing.
If really we went big into stablecoin in this country, what effect could that have on the strength of the dollar? Because we might have to hold dollars in order to match against it, or even for treasuries.
Virtually most of the money moving around the world, most of the dollars moving around the world will be moving on tokenized digital networks.
They try to shake me out, but I was born ready. Dropping down the price, then I be getting plenty. They want all your bags and they want all them empty.
What's up, good glitches? If you got a baggie, welcome to the party. Welcome back to some more Moon o'clock news. No breakfast, no coffee, just straight extra bullishness. Shout out to the latest up. Appreciate you stopping by, tuning in. Don't forget to drop a elbow from the top ropes on that likey button. We got XRP currently right around $2.34. We got one from Riz XRP to pop off. They really hate XRP. We're also going to be taking a look at ZBC. The ZBC trains left the station. They really hate the standard XRP.
Proof of work doesn't work. Proof of work doesn't work. It's been widely...
Ryan, proof of work's been working.
Let me finish. Proof of work doesn't work.
Finish, please.
And in the early days of Bitcoin, there was a whole group of developers that broke off to create other assets, XRP being one of them, that doesn't use mining, that's cheaper from an energy perspective than Visa, and already scales to 1,500 transactions a second. A lot of these problems have already been solved. The challenge for adoption comes back to policy. The policy uncertainty around some of the assets has limited adoption, particularly here in the US. And I'm speaking from Ripple and XRP because we use that asset because it's a half a cent per payment. It's basically free. It scales and it's efficient. The 1,500 transactions a second at nearly no energy burn. So we're at a point today where there are real solutions to all of these challenges that already exist. Policy has become the challenge. And we heard on the first panel that around centralization on China. And this is going to be a hard pill for Peter to swallow. But 80% of the mining power for Bitcoin is controlled by 6 mining pools, 5 of which are in China. Today, the policy certainty in the US exists for Bitcoin and Ethereum, despite the fact those are China-controlled platforms. So activity goes to those platforms. What we need to do from a policy perspective in the US is look at the places where there are uncertainty. And one place, I'm speaking directly for me here, is XRP, where it looks like Bitcoin. It's decentralized, it's open source. We have 7% of the validation power on that, rather small in there. Grouping or giving clarity to those ones that are very similar to Bitcoin and Ethereum, that have the same characteristics and should be classified the same way. And then we're creating a level playing field across all the cryptos. I'm not anti-Bitcoin or anti-Ethereum by any means. I think there's a lot of great potential and breakthrough there. But we need to have a level playing field so the market can pick which ones they want to use and not be, as today they are, hindered by regulatory uncertainty.
They try to bury the XRP ledger, but now the market is speaking, and XRP, the takeover, is happening. The flipping. Cointelegraph bullish. BezNet says stablecoins could create $2 trillion of demand for U.S. treasuries. We're going to go big on digital assets.
If really we went big into stablecoin in this country, what effect could that have on the strength of the dollar? Because we might have to hold dollars in order to match against it, or even for treasuries.
Well, we are going big on digital assets. So Trump administration has made digital assets a priority. Past administration starved and almost made extinct a lot of these companies and pushed it offshore. So what we want to do is apply the highest U.S. regulatory and AML standards to digital assets, especially stablecoins. And I've seen estimates that just over the short term, stablecoins could create $2 trillion of demand for U.S. Treasuries and Treasury bills. To put that in context, the number is probably about $300 billion right now.
XRP, RLUSD. So it begins. From DAI, they've always known that XRP was a real threat to Bitcoin. They played dumb for years. The attack had been engineered behind the scenes. XRP wins. Now that legislation is coming, he seems to totally get it and even thinks that there's a war for the payment systems between Bitcoin and XRP. PS, XRP is faster and more consistent than the Lightning Network, and they know it. The fear is real and there is no competition.
Now, if I open up my Strike app and I send it to her across the Bitcoin blockchain rails, she gets 100 pesos. That's better. And XRP can do the same thing. And there's this Battle Royale going on for the soul. I mean, that's a weird word, but for the soul of the future payment system, banking, because we don't want to call it banking per se. It's the digital financial system.
All roads lead to the interoperable bridge asset, XRP, the interoperable one. Smoke Dog, remember that Pat Thielen represents Ripple on the U.S. Faster Payments Council. Listen to him discuss the future of crypto within the traditional financial services.
Hello, everyone. I'm Pat Thielen. I'm the Vice President of Global Account Management at Ripple. We truly believe that there is an internet of value coming, much like the internet provided with communications and email in the 90s and through the beginning of the millennium. Today, the payment system is advancing. And unlike a lot of the other crypto players in Ripple's space, we truly believe that the revolution is going to occur from within. So the ecosystem that the U.S. Faster Payments Council has put together will be those players that will make sure we advance the industry. The working groups that are coming out, it's the cross-border, the QR, the directory model. These are really opportunities to take that user experience, the interoperability that has been designed in the other initiatives, and really apply it to real-world problems. Many countries have leapfrogged the U.S. in real-time payments, so this is a real opportunity for us to leverage a body like this. The playing field is set, and you can either sit on the sidelines or suit up with U.S. Faster Payments Council and change the game.
The train's left the station. I hope you're not sitting on the sidelines and instead loading up on the greatest opportunity of multiple lifetimes. They said XRP was a scam. It was centralized. They said XRP was a security. Now XRP's front and center, becoming the premier go-to blockchain in the utility era. Digital Perspectives is just the G20, the largest economies of the world, talking about the mass adoption of Ripple and Stellar again. I'm sure it's nothing. Lock in. We got G20 cross-border payment projects staying ahead of the curve and driving global change. Promote inter-industry collaboration. A collaborative ecosystem ensures alignment with the global initiatives and technological advances. Partner with fintechs and startup innovating in cross-border payments such as RippleNet and Stellar. Know what you hold? Everything. Chad Steingraber.
Virtually most of the money moving around the world, most of the dollars moving around the world will be moving on tokenized digital networks. And within 10 years, I predict to you that there won't be a securities offering, a debt offering, an equities offering of any significance that's not tokenized on chain. And those securities offerings that remain in an analog state will be like those bearer bonds in DTC's vault, the coupon clipping bonds that don't matter anymore. Non-tokenized, non-digitized securities will be like those old dusty photo albums, and securities on chain will be like the digital photos on your smartphone.
Crypto Mentality, another hidden gem. Flare Network's co-founder Hugo Filion says that XRP will be on the Flare Network very soon. This will open the door for XRP DeFi, F assets, and more.
They can only respond to consensus on Flare, and that allows us to build a bridge for XRP, Bitcoin, Doge, and do many, many other exciting things with protocol managed wallets. So that then effectively, we're thinking that, XRP will be on Flare very soon. I don't want to give a date, but, very soon. And this then opens up XRP-Fi on Flare, for which there are many areas which we think very interesting.
Meanwhile, we got ZBC Network weekly highlights trending on CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko. Top 10 utility project in Solana up 116% this week. 320 million plus market cap, nearly 60,000 holders. Massive shout out to the ZBC army. Also, you heard Ripple ZBC partnership possibly in the works. Taking a look at ZBC Network here as it breaches a new all-time high. Currently getting close to that penny mark. Has the same max supply as XRP. ZBC Network, new all-time high about 3 hours ago. It's going to be effing crazy for everyone who invested right before a penny for ZBC.
Tobias, isn't it crazy with ZBC? It's 104% in 1 month. Can you imagine when it gets to 1 cent? Some people invested $1 million. That's $10 fucking dollars. Like, think about that. 0.005 for them is $5,000. That's fucking insane. And we got in so early. People don't even know about it. There's 52,000 wallet holders right now. We're good.
Stellar, more than 60% of the world's adult workforce, 2 billion people don't have access to the bank accounts or credit cards typically required to access digital assets for those individuals. Cash is king. Stellar, how MoneyGram International connects the digital to physical. Just in 1 trillion, Fidelity analyst says Bitcoin is in an acceleration phase and heading for squeeze. Suppliers running out.
And as you can see from this chart, there's been a lot of price changes since 2009. If we look at the y-axis on the left, prices moved from like under $1 over 10 years ago to now around $100,000. One major takeaway that I would call out is that historically, the acceleration phases that you see in this chart are correlated with the 6 to 12 months that we get post a Bitcoin halving. And this is typically when supply gets squeezed and there's a bit of a supply shock, and we typically witness a upward trend in price.
Okay, so that's a lot of change in not a very long amount of time.
Things are beginning to heat back up, and the extra bullish meter is going off the hook. Mustache altcoins, don't forget that the total 3 has broken out of the 3-year inverse head and shoulders here. Retest is already complete. The moment when the all-time high of the December 2024 is broken will go down in the history books, because then the parabolic curve will begin. And taking a look at XRP here compared to the previous 2017 Moonshot 3 run, it looks like XRP still right on par. I hope your bags are packed, locked, and loaded. Anytime between now and 30 days, we can see that next move for XRP as the markets begin to heat up. With that being said, Batman Bag Ladies, you're not thinking big enough about XRP. Think 1 billion times X bigger, says Bank Social CEO after Ripple meeting. So it begins. You're not thinking big enough. Think much, much bigger, much, much higher. And the longer they take, the higher we keep climbing on that XRP. Rich list, top 10% holders getting smaller. The weak hands are capitulating. Top 1% holder, 50,983 XRP. And the top 0.1% holder, 370,000 XRP. What will those bags be when that regulation jar of molasses finally breaks open and XRP's true price is finally revealed? I'll catch you up here on the mothership. I am the XRP Bagman, the Moon Commander, BYOB. Bring your own bags, be your own bank, be your own boss. Don't forget to drop an elbow from the top ropes on the likey button. We'll see you at the tippy top. Later, glitches.
Later, glitches.
Welcome to the party. This the moon party. Hey, this the moon party. Hey, welcome to the party. Welcome to the party. This a moon party. This a moon party. Welcome to the party, we don't play round here. Moon suit on or you get sprayed